How's it going? This is Brandon from Brandlux Media, and in today's video, I'm going to bring you through the exact same process of how we scale ads, optimize ads, create campaigns. I'm going to show you everything on a diagram that I created, and this is the same exact process that we use with all of our clients. But in today's video, I'm going to show you some proof with a client that is spending around $10,000 a week and making over $30,000 back just from the ads alone. Okay, so just to show you that this is actually real and it works. And nothing, I'm excited about this video because this is a very highly requested video. I am a strong believer that the creatives are super important, but it's also honestly, important to have a clean and very precise ad account structure to make sure that the testing and the optimizing and the scaling is being done in the most efficient and sustainable way. Okay, with no further ado, let's get right into video as usual. Great, as usual, let's go over the proof. That's the first thing we want to do. And as you can see, this is the account last 7 days. Let me just confirm last 7 days. And by the way, this is in Italian, so a lot of things are going to be in Italian here. For some reason, it translates it every time. But yeah, this means how much they spent, right? So this is the total dollar amount that they spent in the last 7 days. And they generated... this is actually not accurate because we get our data on Triple Whale, and I'm going to show you the proof on Triple Whale as well in just a second. But here the Facebook ad account tells us that we generated 2.16x in return with $20,000 in sales, and it's actually quite a lot more. But yeah, let me just refresh so this is real. And same thing, 9272 in spend, and same thing here, 9271. For some reason it's not exactly the same, but this is the last 7 days. Apply over here, and as you can see, 9271, and this is the actual ROAS, which is a lot higher, 3.39. So as you might know, there are discrepancies between the reality of what Facebook tells you and the actual reality, right? So this is why we like to go after reporting tools like Triple Whale. These are I think more reliable platforms, and they give you a lot more data points that you can analyze over here in the tools. But yeah, this is just the proof. As you can see, we're making quite a lot of money on the back end, and we're also trying to scale. The only reason we're not spending more, what's sustainable for this client is actually like a 2.7, 2.6 ROAS. We're not scaling more because he has inventory issues, and it's just one of those clients where they cannot, they'd rather wait until they can fulfill more. So this is the proof over here. Let's actually go into our diagram. I want to explain and break down all these campaigns, which I cannot show you for NDA reasons, whatever there's product names. I'm going to show you how we structure this and how we're able to spend $10,000 and make over $30,000 at this point, almost $40,000 back in sales. Okay. Now, let's go over this. There it is over here, this diagram. So I have several things to show you. Okay. The first thing that I want to talk about is the testing methodology. I'm going to go over testing methodology, how we scale, the scaling procedures that we use. We like to keep it very, very simple. And by the way, these ways that I'm talking about, that I'm going to explain in this video, they're not the only way of doing this. There's a billion ways of scaling an ad account, of growing an e-commerce business. There's so unlimited ways, actually. So this is just what is working for us and what we've standardized at our agency when we work with our clients. So testing methodology. We like to test with ABO. And for those of you who don't know what ABO is, I'm not going to rant too much. If you're a beginner, you should look at another video like what is Facebook ads and maybe go over that tutorial. But an ABO is essentially the type of campaign where you are in control of where you spend, who you target, what interests to choose, what populations, what ad sets, what ad creatives. Like, you're in full control over the situation. With other campaigns like CBO, for example, you're not in control where the budget of the campaign is being distributed, right? I'm going to talk about that later on, but ABO is a type of campaign that you can kind of pretty much be in control of, and who is seeing your ads and what you're showing. So I like to divide my campaigns. So these are campaigns. these are ad sets, and these are ads, right? This is how it's distributed. And so I like to divide my campaigns based on concepts or products. So a concept that you want to try, whether it's a market, an angle, whatever, or a product, right? It's kind of the same thing, but let's just keep it like this for the sake of the example. So let's just say we have a product. I like to test different interest stacks, put them all together. I also like to test just one interest literally that has a very big population. Typically, we never want to, these interests, whatever they are, we want to go to the millions of people, right? If the interest is too narrow, you're not giving enough space to Facebook to figure it out, right? So you want to make sure that you make sure that the targeting is very, very broad, or as broad as possible. In fact, we also have one interest that we like to publish and test for the concept that is completely broad. You just leave it blank, and you let essentially Facebook choose what interest to choose for you, right? So you don't have to do anything. And so once again, and then we publish typically three ads. Sometimes it's even more depending on the budget. I'll give you a scenario. If you're spending $20-$30 for this ad set, then you want to leave between $7 and $10, $5 to $10 at least per ad. So if you're running at $30, 3 ads is perfect, right? If you're running at $10, maybe you want to run 2 ads, just because it's not, if you have too many ads, it would take very long time for you to understand which ads are working, because they're being distributed. The $10 budget is being distributed across multiple ads, which is not best practice. So give around $10 an ad, whatever. And these, of course, it depends on your budget, how much you want to spend. Okay, so same thing with product 2, concept 2, whatever. It's the same exact thing. This is how we test. Now, quick notes over here. This is where we will test our interests and creatives the most. This is where we want to be as creative as possible and test multiple concepts. Note, if the interests do well, scale them, even if they are in this creative testing phase or whatever. And not in the CBO and ACS, which is where we are going to scale. I'm going to talk about it in just a second below. So if something is working, even if it's in this testing window, right, where you're just trying to discover things, it doesn't mean that you can't that you have to get this concept and put it into a scaling campaign. Just test it, increase the budget by 10-20% daily if it's worth it. And also maybe what has worked well, which was kind of an old strategy, but it seems to be working again, is just duplicate the exact same interest. Just duplicate it multiple times and double the budget. That seems to be working again. It was something that used to work in 2018, and for some of our clients, it just works well. It's really, there's a billion ways to do this, guys. But this is what is working for us. So this is testing, and keep track of the ads. Make sure that you have an organized sheet where you're able to track the ad IDs, what ads are performing, so that you don't only rely on the ad account, because it can get quite confusing. So let's talk about scaling methods. And there's typically 2 that I want to discuss on this call. And let me just shrink myself. I'm a little too big over here. So there's 2 concepts that I want to discuss. Method number 1 of scaling, I like to plug everything that is working over here in the ABOs and track the best creatives. We get all the best creatives and we dump them over here into an ACS. And an ACS, the beauty kind of the ACS is that you let Facebook do its job. And so the only thing that you're in control is how much you want to spend, your budget, what geographical areas you want to focus on, and your ads. You have no control over the audience, the interest, the limiting. In fact, if you sell alcohol, you can't actually test an ACS, from my understanding, if I remember correctly, because you're not able to tweak the age range. And because you're not able to tweak the age range, and you're only supposed to sell to 21 and over in the United States, at least, or I think also in general for Facebook, you're not able to test an ACS if you're selling alcohol. So sorry if you're selling alcohol, but whatever. That's the scenario. Either way, this is how it works. You track all the best campaigns. Let's say 3 is working well, and 1 is working well, and this one over here is working well, and you put everything over here, and you group and you test different ads. This is a creative campaign Don't worry too much about what's happening, why Facebook is doing this, why Facebook is doing that. Just know that you're in good hands. Even if Facebook can be quite a dick sometimes, they actually care about giving you the best returns and the best results. So just focus on winning ads. You should just focus on those and nothing else. How does this campaign actually work in terms of expectations of results? This is typically a type of campaign. Let me just read what I wrote over here. So this is where we focus on scaling and adding new winning creatives. I already mentioned that. The ACS daily budget should be 3x to 4x your target cost per acquisition. So if you have a $100 product and your target cost per acquisition is $50, right? This campaign should run at $150 per day times 3. 50 times 3 or 50 times 4. $150 to $200. The reason why I'm not exactly sure, it's just like we've tested running at lower budget, it's just it doesn't work as well. So at least, you know, focus on your cost per acquisition, what you want that to be and what is sustainable for you, and then multiply by 3 or 4. We found that to be a best practice. One other thing is that you need to be a little more patient with this type of campaign. So we typically leave this campaign on for 7 to 14 days to see how it's going. Don't panic if you don't see any results. This is almost like, for us at least, over 60-70% of the time, I'm not sure exactly, but like the majority of the time that when we start this campaign, it takes a little longer to optimize. And so we don't panic, we just leave it running for 10 days, 12 days, 14 days, and then regroup and kind of analyze what's going on. So this is great. And I mean, if you're doing this campaign, it means that you probably do have the budget, because it means you're scaling. So there shouldn't be any problem of you like spending that, you know, that 3 to 4 times the CPA, cost per acquisition, if you're in this stage, because it means that you're scaling and you're trying to, you know, and you're trying to scale more. Okay. So this is how this works. This other strategy, which is very simple, and by the way, all these concepts, they're not like super new. We like to keep it very simple. We like to do the complex and creative things in the creative side, because that's where the money is, guys. Like this, there's so many different ways of doing, you know, ad account structures. I can go on and rant for 45 hours in a row, but at the end of the day, it's going to be the marketing, the words that you use, your product pages, your creatives, which is why most of my videos are not about this. But I just receive a bunch of requests, and so I thought I'd just do a very simple breakdown and breakthrough of how we do it. Either way, scaling methodology 2 is same kind of thing, but we just go after CBOs. Add as many winning interests along with the ads that worked, and have Meta decide where to spend. Feed it as much as possible. What you want to do is, if you notice that this, and this were working well, you just grab it and you put it all over in the CBO. And the secret here is to have as many proven ad sets with ads that are working. And how the CBO works, for those of you who don't, is that you're only able to decide how much the budget wants to spend. So if you give it $100 a day and you put in 3 different ad sets that are winners, in this case, based on our methodology and scaling procedures, then Facebook will decide whether to spend an ad set 1, 2, or 3 and the distribution. Maybe it spends $80 in the first ad set, and then it spends $10 and another $10 in the other 2. So it's going to be purely based on performance, and this is how it, you know, Facebook decides how they want to scale and distribute the budget. So these are the 2 main ways that we scale. Once again, you can scale with ABO as well in the testing method. You can do all that stuff, but we like to aggressively scale with an ACS and a CBO, as they are proven by us, and it's working really well for most of our clients. And so let's talk about retargeting methods very quickly. I have, once again, there's a lot to talk about retargeting, and these are the fundamentals. Okay, I like to do an ABO for retargeting with dynamic product ads, DPA campaigns. And if you don't know what a DPA campaign is, look it up. It's very simple, but it's essentially Facebook will place the right products based on the behavior of the customer in the past in front of them, but also based on if they browsed perhaps on your website and they saw product A, they can be retargeted with that same exact product, that same exact price, that same exact offer and image that they saw. So it's a very targeted type of ad, and it syncs with your catalog, so that, you know, Facebook, Shopify and Facebook know exactly and can exchange information so that Facebook shows the ads to the right people with the right product in front of them, right? So this is a dynamic product ads. They work super well, and we put in one ABO, very simple, put in one budget for the ad set, and then we put a retargeting stack. The other way that you can do it is that you can have multiple ad sets, and then instead of having a retargeting stack altogether, right, you have like people that added to cart, $10 a day, another $10 a day, people that initiated checkout. I just like to put everything together, I think. If you want to make the sales journey a little more personalized, then you have to divide it. And so maybe you have an offer just for people that added to cart, saw the product, and initiated checkout, right? And you have an offer for them. And then you don't have an offer for people that viewed your Facebook page randomly, right? We like to just stack it in most cases and just focus on delivering ads with multiple angles. That's what's working well for us. And same thing here, retargeting CBO strategy, with not with a dynamic, but just with a normal CBO. We put it at the campaign budget, and both of these models work, CBO or ABO or CBO work, and then it's kind of the same exact concept. And here we want to focus on ads. If you want to create a more personalized approach, which is worth testing, I would test the best performing ads, but also ads that are personalized to a more warm audience. Reminders, people that are product aware, solution aware, already viewed your products, warmer types of audiences. And this, I just thought I'd show you, this is just what we're doing for us, for our clients in terms of retargeting stacks. We have engaged with the Facebook page in the last year, video viewers 75% in the last year. All the people that viewed up to 75% of a particular video or like several videos altogether. And then people that added to cart, initiated checkout in the last 180 days, viewed the content, IG engagement last year, and then we're testing some things with Shopify audiences. So this is how we set it up. This is a very basic structure, and we like to keep things very, very simple. One last thing that I want to talk about is that, once again, there are many ways to do this. This is not the only way, okay? This is just what is working with us, just because we like to keep things very, very simple, and we like to go all in on what? On creatives. And this is actually just a section of our website. These are just like some of the creatives that we've worked with, and we like to do a lot of user-generated content, test multiple angles, test a bunch of creators, right? Especially when we're scaling. When you're testing, you can pretty much adapt to what you can find and the resources you have. But when you start scaling, that's really when you have to go all in on creatives. And I have a bunch of other videos that talk purely about how I scale my clients from a creative perspective only, my UGC strategy. So make sure to go into my channel and navigate through the other videos so that you can get some value from those videos. But yeah, this is what I would focus on, creatives. Don't worry too much about the ad account structure, but if you do have to worry a little bit about the ad account structure, maybe do something like this. This is what is working for us. Let me know if you have any questions about this video. This was a quick one, but I just want to show you how we structure our ads, and that, if you do it in this way, it's probably going to be the most simple and organized way for you to scale, test, and optimize. Okay, that's it for this video, and with no further ado, see you in the next one.